اهلا بيكم في كايرو دار. النهارده هنتكلم عن light reaction and dark reaction as two reactions that form the photosynthesis process. The light reaction limited factor is the light, and that takes place on the granular surface, and the limited factor is the light because that takes place in light only, and the result of light reaction is the NADPH2 and ATP. But the dark reaction takes place in Citroma. The limited factor is the temperature because it's act as a as an enzymatic reaction, and also that takes place at the presence or absence of light. So the light is not limited factor, but the limited factor is the temperature. So what about the steps of the light reaction? The steps of light reaction start when the sun, which act as a source of energy, allows the light energy to get on the chlorophyll molecule. The chlorophyll molecule containing the electrons. The electrons of the chlorophyll molecule move from low energy level to higher one when the electrons gain light energy. So the light energy change into potential chemical energy because the electrons move from low energy level to higher one. So the chlorophyll become active chlorophyll. The active chlorophyll containing a great amount of energy. The energy of the active chlorophyll is divided into two groups. Part of the energy is used in splitting the H2O into hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is carried on NADP to form NADPH2, and the oxygen is evolved. So the function of NADP is the carrying or act as a hydrogen carrier, and also prevent the recombination between hydrogen and oxygen to form water. So NADP is formed, and it passes from the granular surface to get in the stroma where the dark reaction takes place. But the other part of the energy is used to form or to change ADP molecule into ATP molecule by adding a phosphate group, and the amount of energy to form the bond between the second and the third phosphate groups. Oxygen is evolved as a result of the light reaction due to the combination of NADP with the hydrogen to form NADPH2. The NADPH2 and the ATP get in the stroma for the dark reaction. So the limited factor of the light reaction is light that takes place on the granular surface due to the presence of the chlorophyll molecules on the granular surface, and the main important structure that carry out the light reaction is the chlorophyll molecule and the enzymes inside the on the granular surface. But what about the dark reaction? The dark reaction takes place due to the reducing carbon dioxide by the hydrogen that carried on NADPH2 and the energy stored in ATP to form sugar, because we understand that carbon dioxide acts as a low energy compound, but the sugar which is formed as a result of photosynthesis that act as a high energy compound. So we need amount of energy to change or to reduce the carbon dioxide into sugar. So carbon dioxide is reduced by the hydrogen which carried on NADPH2 and the energy that is stored in ATP to form sugar. But the sugar formation acts as a dark reaction, so the experiment of Malvin-Calvin that proves the dark reaction. The experiment of Malvin-Calvin is carried out by using the chlorella algae. Malvin-Calvin used the chlorella algae in this experiment because the chlorella algae act as a simple algae can carry out photosynthesis process. The chlorella algae can carry out photosynthesis and form sugar if the chlorella algae exposed to light for sufficient time or suitable time to carry out photosynthesis. But when the chlorella algae, Malvin-Calvin put the chlorella algae in darkness place for 12 hours, that to consume all the foods that is stored inside the chlorella algae. After that, if you exposed, or Malvin-Calvin exposed the chlorella algae to light for 1 to 2 seconds only. That means the chlorella algae can carry out photosynthesis to form a certain compound in 1 second. After that, Malvin-Calvin put the chlorella algae in boiled alcohol that to kill the protoplasm and stop the biochemical reaction, that to get or to understand that what about the certain compounds that formed as a result of photosynthesis in 1 second. the observations. First stable compounds that formed as a result of photosynthesis is the phosphoglyceraldehyde. The plant is not form sugar after 1 to 2 seconds, but form phosphoglyceraldehyde. What about the conclusion of the experiment? The conclusion that the first stable compound that formed as a result of photosynthesis is phosphoglyceraldehyde, not glucose. Number 2, the formation of glucose is formed after 1 to 2 after the formation of glucose needs the presence of certain steps that to form the glucose, not one step. Number 3, the experiment to prove the dark reaction, because carbon dioxide is formed of 1 carbon atom, but the phosphoglyceraldehyde is 3 carbon, so that means we need to reduce carbon dioxide to form phosphoglyceraldehyde. Therefore, the phosphoglyceraldehyde is the first stable compound that formed as a result of photosynthesis. That's the last part of this lesson. Thank you very much. Goodbye and good luck.